Lord, help me. This lady from a pagan background, district of Tyre and Sidon, Canaanite woman, is pleading for the only help she has. She by instinct knows that these Jews have something which perhaps they need. For her it is healing for her daughter. Of course the Lord is reticent with regard to beginning a healing ministry outside Jewish territory, because it would mean that he would be entirely used for that, and his mission was other. But he, as it were, solicited from her more pleading. And it's rather quaint what happened. She argues and barters with him, and of course the Lord in his goodness willingly yields. It's the same with heaven today. When we cry out in sincerity, we are heard. One of the greatest tragedies in Catholic life over the planet is this: we don't do that. We are often, if we're honest, rather like Tibetan prayer machines, and we take little account of the warning of the Lord that, like the pagans, we can find ourselves thinking that we will be heard the more we say. At Garabandal, we were given a corrective, but few listened. It was this: when the children were in ecstasy, they happened to tape the rosary that they were saying in that state, taught by heaven itself, and it was slow and pondered, quiet and interiorized, and every word was heard, and every word counted. Light years away from at least our average Irish rosary, in which the goal seems to be, at all costs, getting to the end, as though that were the main object of starting. Why treat heaven so badly, and expect heaven to take us seriously, whereas this woman who had no theological formation got it right? Help! This help cry happened recently. I picked up the message from my contacts with Italy. Italy was the worst hit in Europe with regard to the pandemic, and something happened. They used modern means to link up all the sanctuaries, and there are many, and to make the whole country pray together, and cry, help! To Our Blessed Lady, notably. And there was a huge drive of Christians enclosed in their homes, all linked together, driven by unexpected movements of the Holy Ghost. And one interesting element that came very much on board and has stayed on board is one of the most lovable cardinals of all, Cardinal Angelo Comastri, whom we've started to call our angel. He has a gift of prayer. He has a gift of heart to heart. When he prays with our Blessed Lady, you can see him gazing right into her eyes and pleading, pleading, pleading. But also, he brings the whole people with him. He has a gift of meditating spontaneously between the decades, telling stories and engaging and bringing them into the living God and the living Virgin. A gift from heaven. A simple, holy priest, a cardinal who is really in the heart of our Blessed Lady and of the Church. And the Lord raised him up and things started to happen. It was a miracle, and observed as such. When the whole country pleaded thus with Our Lady, the plague started to recede, to calm down, to lose its force, to go away region after region, and now Italy is one of the first to be green, and they can come from Italy here. Amazing. And yet, why should it be? It was because they cried out from the heart, "Help!" That is prayer, not the Tibetan prayer machine. This day, I live again powerful memories. When a student in 1975, I was sent to Rome and Italy and Greece to study classic remains, and getting out of the airport there in Termini and the centre of Italy, I found myself before an interesting church. I walked in, it was full of life at the crack of dawn. It was a Marian year, it was a jubilee of some kind, 1975, and it was all happening. Processions, masses everywhere, and pilgrims all around. I got confession, and I assisted at Holy Mass, but I was inspired by what was going on. All over the place, all over these altars, there were celebrations quietly at that time of the morning. And I thought to myself, I wonder what it would be to be one of those priests able to go to one of these altars. And one altar caught my eye in particular. It was the one, as one enters St. Mary Major's, as one goes in, it's immediately to the right. As one goes out, it's to the left. And I noticed the priest is starting quietly away there. And I thought to myself, that is intimacy with heaven. Years later, I found myself at that same altar, and before it is this mural, this great portrait, this picture, and here's that of Our Lady of the Snows. And what is happening there is that Our Lady from heaven is looking over Rome and is shedding a shower of snow on this very day, the 5th of August, on the Esquiline Hill, indicating her will. It was immediately after the Council of Ephesus, 431, when she had been proclaimed Theotokos, Dei Para, birth giver of God, to define precisely what had been born of her. And she wanted, therefore, a temple in her honour in the heart of the Western world. She indicated the place by this snowfall on the Esquiline Hill, and that's where it was to be. Pope Sixtus III built it, and it's still there to this day. Hardly damaged, actually, by the centuries. Still a centre of prayer. And when a young priest, I would often go there and celebrate at 7 in the morning. They would give you an altar, and that might be one of the altars they would give you. So it became a place very dear. You could also get confessions there any time. Place filled with grace. Still, when I go to Rome, it's there. I would tend to concelebrate on the altar, which is before the icon of Our Lady Salus Populi Romani, which the Holy Father used recently to ask for healing from this plague. And by the way, when he did so in that pouring rain, Our Lady was seen by people's mobile phones on the clouds looking down, accepting it. Well, this day is also interesting because from the reports that have come to us from Medjugorje, the actual historic day of her birth was this very day, the 5th of August. So it's interesting that that's when this snowfall came, in the month of August, in Rome. The temperatures can be well up to even in the 40s in August. And by the way, it's happened also recently in China in midsummer. And there's an old Chinese proverb which says, when there is great injustice, you will see it snowing in June. And it happened in their June, it was our July. And also fish jumping out of the sea and lakes mysteriously, earthquakes, huge floods, things going massively wrong. Interesting that nature also has its language. On this feast, we need to come to our mother and to honour her with something which is worthy of her. A good resolution on this day would be that precisely of the sincere cry from the heart and the elimination evermore of anything in automatic mode or pilot. Prayer must not be less intense than the cry of the deepest lover. It is relationship that we have, and relationship is living. It binds, it bonds. We hear the beloved. And actually, quite often, the rosary well understood is the best way of doing that. Why? When calmly it goes on in the mind, it creates a locus. What? Not of getting it through and of duty is accomplished, but of being with. It provides a space, whether alone or together, of being with. We enter into mode. It's actually far easier sometimes than utter, complete silence. But Our Lady knows it well. Why, at Fatima, 6 times, that is, at each of the apparitions, did she request explicitly and formally the recitation of the Holy Rosary every day. Experts say that the reason was that it's the one thing that everyone on earth could do, from the child to the Holy Father. Why think we know better than Our Lady? Why honour heaven with means of our own, as though we were supermen, with shortcuts to heaven, superior to what heaven himself has given and wanted? The child quietly does what the mother indicates, for she knows better. Let us listen to our mother and give her this honour, sincerity of heart. Redemptoris Mater, que per via celi portomanes, et stella maris, succurre cadenti, sugere qui curat populo, tu qui genuisti, natura mirante, tuum sanctum genitorem, Virgo prius ad posterius, Gabrielis amore, sumens ignorabi, peccatorum miserere.